and all these soldiers had their cell phones. He said, we were already being targeted. Yeah. And I got up and I took them on and I threw them out and said, no, we're not taking that. It's going to be too dangerous for us.
So if somebody is wondering how they can help a military family, what would you suggest?
When I first see a couple, or they ask me about some problems, and I try and find out first, what has the problem been, their level? So really what we're finding is what is the time they're apart, and if they have history of what's gone on wrong. But as far as a generic way to say do this, we try and teach a ritual, something they can do. So the soldier may take pictures of the kids, wife, with him, but there's a certain blanket that they have that has a scent of the family on it. But also the family will have rituals that they'll do. Some of it is with the video, with the Skype, a tape. They're always making boxes to send to them, and the kids will even draw pictures, for their friends over there. Here, Dad, give these to your friends. They always bake goods. Of course, the soldiers can never have too many. The main thing is so they know they're still connected. Depending on which branch they're in, depending on which battalion they're in, what level, some of the ones that are the hardest are like our special forces, because they can't have the contact. When then I ask the families, what can you do to keep connected? And so we've done some things that they can put a box together of this is what we did on this day. Some memories that when he does come home, you can see we didn't forget you, this is what we did, and here's something we did for you. That's how I got involved with the Quilt of Valor. The Quilt of Valor is about volunteering people that either have been involved with the military, been involved with a family member that was military. And what it's meant to do is when they've had at least one deployment, doesn't matter what year, they are given a Quilt of Valor. And I have even given one to a World War II soldier. We're always looking for soldiers that have been deployed, so if you have any that know they've had at least one deployment, you can let us know. We'll get one to them. I brought one with us here, so if we are able to give one to one of y'all, that would be wonderful. The people on the other end, they think it's a good tradition to give back, because this is people that are living here. Some are overseas, some are from other countries, but they spend their own time, their own money. No one gives them anything to do. As far as, financial. And when they're doing it, they're thinking about the soldier. And so they write their story. That when I was doing this is where I was and what I was thinking. And then the soldier gets to read it. And they feel like they're close to that person. And then they connect with the email if they're willing. I also ask if I can have a picture. If the soldier's okay with that, then I put a picture up on the website so they can see who got their quilt, and they're really excited when they see how they were with it. We usually wrap them up in it, and we say a few words with them about what it does for us to give them back some honor, and how they took their time to volunteer for the service, and now there's no way to not go to deployment because they have no choice whether it's volunteer. No, you're going. You're just assigned. So another ritual that we use with the family and the soldier is what else can you do because you don't have any control. The control is not yours when you signed on to the military. The military is going to tell you what to do. I share with them what it was like in Vietnam time because my father was there. And we didn't know anything. He left the house. We didn't know when he would be back. We didn't know what to do. We just didn't think. Well, now we have a lot of communication that they use. Sometimes I think too much.
So, too much communication?
Too much communication, right.
What do you mean by that?
I can give you an example. There was a pilot that I was treating that he said he was over there ready to take off, and all these soldiers had their cell phones. He said, we were already being targeted. Yeah. And I got up and I took them on and I threw them out. And said, no, we're not taking that. It's going to be too dangerous for us.
So people like here can get lost on their phones.
No, they're on the plane in Afghanistan, and those guys didn't want to put it up, get rid of it, and it was going to be a target for that plane. And they argued and argued with him. He said, that's it, just give me, and threw them off. So I had another one. The wife was talking to the soldier. He was in his place there. He stays, in his place over there in Afghanistan. And when she heard the bullets, and of course he dropped the phone, she was so mad that he didn't hang up. And I said, ma'am, his life is in danger. There's no way he can say, oh, goodbye, you know. And of course, you're wondering if he's alive when you hear those bullets. She had no idea what I was talking about. She had no empathy, except that he was rude to not hang up the phone. And of course, my little one here is like, he's alive, you know. So some of that, sometimes it triggers me, you know, because I'm a brat. And trying to train and teach and mold empathy for what those soldiers go through. They're real open to me because they know I'm okay to say it.
That hurts. I mean, just hearing that, that would be hard to work with, wouldn't it? I mean, because you're dealing with now a spouse who doesn't have empathy here. In terms of the partner, how did the partner handle that?
The partner wasn't there.
Wasn't there, so never heard about this.
He was still over in Afghanistan. I mean, she got so angry and was taking out the kids that they said...
Because he hung up on her.
He didn't hang up, he just dropped the phone. And it was still on. She could hear the bullets and all that. She wasn't scared about that. She was just angry he didn't hang up. I said, do you understand he's in war? He's not over there playing. This is not a game, this is war.
And she still couldn't.
She could not. She was so far removed of what he was really in.
Right. You know, there's a principle in affect theory that we have a reflex that when we experience withdrawal of interest, we feel shame. It's a reflex like this. And so we then go into immediate shame because somebody's not paying attention to us. We attack ourselves, and then obviously in this case we attack other. And I think it might be useful for a woman like this to understand physiologically what actually happened to her was that she felt so unimportant, but it was more of a physiological reaction. And he was doing something to preserve his life, really. Well, he wanted to be back with her.
The civilian population, the families, to get them to understanding. And, you know, obviously we can't understand unless we're really there. But, you know, I'm thinking, you know, military and any first responders, that unless the spouse is one themselves, I think it'd be very difficult to really understand what your spouse, the one who's serving, goes through, and that emotional and mental traumas. You know, what techniques, I mean, what's there to help the civilian to have some sense of understanding?
If you're watching and someone you love has been deployed or has had to be away from home for a long time, the panel has given you lots of advice about how to stay connected to your loved one. Do what you can to help them so when you do reconnect, it feels more comfortable.